Hey guys, what's going on? This is Under the Arch Sports. I'm Eric Hobbs, and here today we're going to talk about Theo Wease, an Oklahoma transfer headed to Mizzou. Before we get into that, make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel and find us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Guys, we're also in the final week of the UTA toy drive. Please help us out. Link is in the description below. Yeah, so Theo Wease Jr. entered the transfer portal from Oklahoma. He's a wide receiver, 6'3", 205. As I said, OU transfer. Originally from Allen, Texas, basically the northeast part of the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex. And this guy, yeah, he was probably Oklahoma's fourth receiver this past year. Going back to his high school days, he was a five-star. He was the number 11 player overall in the Rivals 150 that year. The Rivals 100, I should say. He's got 2 years of eligibility left coming to Missouri. And this past season, he had 19 catches, 378 yards, 4 touchdowns. His best game was probably Texas Tech. He had 3 catches for 123 yards and a score. He missed all of 2021, basically all of 2021 with a foot injury. That's why he's got the 2 years left. There was some hinting that Theo Wease might be coming to Missouri. He tweeted out that his recruiting was shutting down and he was going to have an announcement coming soon at just about the exact same time that Luther Burden tweeted out about, hey, we got one. So people were starting to connect the dots there. And then there were some other subtle hints dropped online. And then after the border war went terribly for Missouri on Saturday, Theo Wease tweeted out, basically, hey, I got y'all. So this is not necessarily that big of a surprise for people who follow recruiting on a consistent basis. As far as who wanted him, the offers. Out of high school, in word, everybody. Just look at the list. Everybody wanted him. As far as who has been recruiting him as a transfer, that's hard to say. These transfer portal guys tend to be a lot more discreet, a lot quieter about where they're visiting, who's offered them, and so forth. So honestly, we don't really know who's been going after him. He didn't tweet out anything. There was nothing on Twitter to say, oh yeah, okay, Oklahoma State, Texas, or Alabama, anybody like that. So we don't know. When I looked at Wease on film, I looked at some of his 2022 highlights, and 2 things stood out to me. The first is that he's got good speed, not elite, but good speed, and he is able to keep that speed while planting his foot and making a pretty significant change in direction. Yeah, not necessarily shifty, like just a complete, I just juke a guy right out of his jockstrap, but he can plant and change directions, at a big enough angle that it gets him another 15 yards. So that's good. The other thing is 6'3", 205 I mentioned. He is able to, he's able to withstand any sort of, beating and banging that a corner might try to put on him. So that's good. He can muscle his way through a jump ball. So what does this mean for Missouri? Well, I think the biggest thing is you look at the loss of Dominic Lovett to the transfer portal, and there was a glaring need for somebody, whether that be a transfer like Wease or somebody like Mekhi Miller stepping up. Well, here the Tigers have Wease coming in. He is able to play more on the outside where Luther Burden was this past season. This allows Luther Burden to move into what I consider a more natural position for him, kind of on the inside as a slot receiver, which is where Lovett played this past year. So I think 2 positions get better at receiver with Wease coming in for Missouri. If Luther Burden improves freshman to sophomore year like Dominic Lovett did, look out, first off. And secondly, that takes the pressure off of Wease to not have to be the guy, the savior of the receiving corps coming in as a transfer. So whoever the quarterback is for Missouri, be it Brady Cook, Sam Horn, or anybody else, they they're going to look at their wide receiver core and they're going to see 2 5-stars right next to each other. So that is a reassuring thing, right? And you look at the wide receiver room in general, it's just more talent. You look at Missouri, and some fans were thinking, okay, we had Lovett, Dominic Lovett when he was with Missouri. Luther Burden, Mekhi Miller looks good. All right, we're in good shape. Well, no. Think back to Missouri teams with Chase Daniel, 2007, 2008. You had Will Franklin, you had Jeremy Maclin, you had Denario Alexander, even Jared Perry, Tommy Saunders, plus Martin Rucker and Chase Kaufman at tight end. That's 7 guys who were capable of going for 100 yards and a couple of scores in a given football game. Missouri doesn't have anything near that. Adding Wease just gets Missouri a little bit closer to having a room full of dudes, which that's how Missouri's going to get good, is not just having the 3 starting receivers be awesome, but having somebody go off for a blow and somebody just as good replacing him. That's what Missouri is working on building now in terms of talent. So, hey, Theo Wease, newest Missouri Tiger. Big recruiting win. Thanks for checking us out. See you next time.